And we're back on another exciting episode of Starfleet Boy, where we have a casual and informal conversation about Star Trek. Today, we're focused on the Star Trek Original Series episode, Shore Leave. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, hey. Hey, hey. Father, we can't hear you. Are you talking?
No, I didn't say anything.
I was gonna say, I'm joined today by Fathery and Earl Grey Trekkie. Welcome. And this is already Chris's favorite episode of the original series. Very cool. I hope you share your ideas about it in the chat, guys. I have terrible allergies, so there's a couple times where I might mute myself and blow my nose. I'll also mute my video when that happens, so I apologize in advance, but we've done Make It Show before. We're used to that here at Starfleet Boy, so I think it'll be totally fine. Father Robbie graciously agreed to summarize this episode while we're in the green room. Yeah, so I'm going to give Robbie the floor. Robbie, take it away, please.
The Enterprise crew arrive at the planet for a well-needed respite from their duties, and soon after they beam aboard the planet, they find what seem to be delusions and strange shenanigans happening aboard the planet. And they try and figure out what's happening with all the crew members on this planet.
You need a little help there, Robbie?
Yes,
is that
please.
the summary? Was that the summary? That was if that was the whole summary. Oh wait, I don't know how to do this. Control T. If that was the whole summary, that's fine actually, because it does kind of sum it up very succinctly. But I just want to say, wackiness ensues in this episode. That's the only thing I'll add here. Yeah, that's just like one of the wackiest episodes. I guess we could go right into it. Jace. Hey guys, I could do with some shore leave. Yes, we all could do with some shore leave. It's true.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Did you guys feel not you, Robbie, because you didn't have holiday, but do you feel like you got a little shore leave in this Thanksgiving holiday, Fathery?
I suppose it was more of a staycation than anything. But yeah, like I'm never gonna turn down a 4-day weekend, so
it's
it was.
True. It's a good thing.
Good. And I kind of like Spock's take on it when he says talking about like human recreation and
how he doesn't understand how we put all this energy into it when you should be
I like the way that he trivializes it as like, how do you rest by running up and down green grass? I think that's kind of funny. He's like, what's the appeal of that? I don't get it.
Vulcans will never know. It's true. I disagree with Mr. Spock. I love running around up and down green grass and hills and fighting my stereotypically Irish friends and bullies from my childhood.
The Irish representation of Star Trek, the original series, season 1, has not been great, has it?
No, it hasn't been great.
Riley, who's like singing these Irish songs that ain't even Irish.
That wasn't even. Yeah, I know. It's true.
Finnegan with this terrible accent.
Well, isn't he?
He's also just like an asshole.
He's an asshole, but isn't he basically doing an impression of like a classic leprechaun from like the 1500s or something like that? Like it's not even like how an Irish person would talk. It's more like a leprechaun, with like "find me pot of gold" and that kind of thing, right?
Oh, me lucky charms.
Yeah, I feel like it was very. Yeah, it's the worst. By the way, I tweeted about this, but I don't know how I stumbled upon this. But when I closed my eyes in a moment, like I guess to rest my eyes, when Finnegan and Kirk were fighting at Vasquez Rocks, and he sounded just like Tom Cruise to me. I think it's like really eerie. Just listen to go back and listen to it.
I ain't never heard Tom Cruise sound like that.
He does in Far and Away. Have you ever seen Far and Away? The movie Far and Away?
I have not.
Shannon Christie, claim your land, Joseph. There's all these. It's another. Well, anyways, Tom Cruise does a very bad Irish accent. Well, I don't know if it's terrible. Mm-hmm. Irish people, let us know. Irish Trekkie, if you're listening to this or watching this, comment below and let us know.
Irish Trekkie has strong opinions on the accents in the Voyager episode Fairhaven. which were not good.
Yeah, I bet. There's also, what about the episode of TNG, Up the Ladder or whatever it's called?
Oh yeah, that's another
one.
silly one.
Anyway,
in the cargo bay.
Yes,
is that the
exactly.
one?
Yeah, that's the one.
Y'all follow Linda Butler on Twitter, right?
I do. She's great. Yeah,
she's actually Irish. She does a fantastic cosplay. Everyone should go follow her. She does like really amazing work, and everyone should check it out because she posts a bunch of stuff about it. But she cosplayed as the red-haired woman in that episode. Yeah.
Yes, I've seen that. She looks fabulous in that cosplay. Shout out to Linda Butler. Yeah, it's really cool. I wish I had like the magic to pull it up right now and show it, but I suppose we'll do it in a future episode. I guess there's a long history of of Irish portrayal, like the Irish representation, but poorly done in Star Trek.
The Irish are the only ones that Star Trek has dropped the ball with a little bit. So.
Oh my gosh, look at this. Nick is here. Well. Look what the Cations dragged in.
Oh no. We've been invaded by Ketwalski.
Ketwalski, I demand a Tikal in Ketwalski. Did you see my joke? Did you like my joke, Nick? And also, I'm gonna shoot you a Nick. Nick, I'm gonna shoot you a link. Let's see if you have the time to come on. No pressure. All right. So, I loved. So we have an overworked and exhausted crew, and they need shore leave. And talk to me about Spock's solution to get Jim to go down the planet. That was hilarious, I thought.
Oh yeah, a little manipulative, but you can kind of see it coming. But yeah, he presents the idea of there's one crewman who's been overworked. He's constantly obsessing about his duty. He won't take a break. He's at the risk of becoming a danger to himself and to his fellow crew. And Kirk is like, oh yeah, well, tell that person I order him to beam down and take shore leave. Who is it? And he's like, it's you, fool.
Very funny. Sorry, I was making it show. Oh, okay. So Link. I just called Nick Link. That's actually a compliment because I love Link. And you
like the Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, like the Legend of Zelda. You could play Link. You should cosplay as Link. That would be awesome.
Ketwalski is now Alex Kurtzman and Link from the Legend of Zelda.
Yes, I hope
how many respondents does he have?
He's not Alex Kurtzman, but he's
a master of the skies.
He's the master, period. Anyways, that was really funny. So the first kind of gag we get, or like weird wacky thing that happens, is the Alice in Wonderland thing. And I was it's kind of funny, like watching. I didn't even connect this when I was watching Discovery so implicitly, but Discovery does an Alice in Wonderland thing in season 1 too, which is kind of cool. So maybe that's a harkening back to this moment where
that actually ties into the animated series where they established that Spock's mother Amanda liked to read Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, that's right. That's what it was. Well, there you go.
They bring that up when they return to this planet. There's a sequel to this episode within the animated series.
Oh, what is it called? How I didn't know that.
I should know that.
I didn't do enough research.
Yeah, they come to like the exact same planet. And you
sorry,
see, like,
Aaron.
Yeah, don't tell Aaron Harvey that you forgot the. Well, I do have Aaron Harvey's book right here. I guess I can just.
You could just pull it up. Robbie, what did you think overall of like the like Alice in Wonderland gag that they did in this episode? And when had you seen this before, or was this your first time seeing it?
No, I've already seen it maybe once or twice before. I like the gag. I think it was quite different, and I like that McCoy was the only person that saw it. So Celia was like, "Are you okay, McCoy? You seem a bit out of it." And I think it was a good setup for the rest of the almost delusions in the episode.
Yeah, totally. I was when I remember seeing this as a kid for the first time, I was like, "What's going on? It's so weird." I like Alice in Wonderland a lot, and I think it's just funny that the rabbit was basically a person in a rabbit suit. Like,
yeah, it's quite hilarious.
It's a little bit more animated in the animated series when we see the rabbit again.
It's easier than a real rabbit.
It's like a robot that the planet has to throw together at the last minute. It didn't have time to make it photorealistic.
What did you guys think of the whole, like, the caretaker and who are those people? Do we get any answers in the animated series episode? Like,
yeah, they show
up again?
More of the inner workings of the shore leave planet. In the episode that I am embarrassed I do not remember the name of, because I'm typically on top of my shit.
That's so terrible. Father, you're slacking.
I didn't even know the episode existed, so I don't want to hear it.
It's true. I really didn't. I want to say that the whole thing gave me the vibe.
Here we go.
Like planet Westworld. It could have been a crossover.
Once Upon a Planet is the name of the episode.
Once Upon a Planet. Very cool.
Yeah, and here you see the white rabbit.
There he is. That's a cool one with the red eyes. I like that. What were you gonna say, Robbie?
Is that a TOS guide?
This is the official guide to the animated series, written by Aaron Harvey and Rich Shepus. And if y'all check out the Text Trek podcast, we actually interviewed both authors and discussed the animated series in great depths and detail with both Aaron and Rich.
Jace, tell us your favorite part of the episode and why it stands out to you. For me, I think all the despite how cringy the Finnegan stuff may be, on like paper, it's really cool stuff because I really like Captain Kirk, knowing about Captain Kirk's past and seeing, like, you know, also Ruth we get, by the way. So we get these two interesting reveals into Captain Kirk.
Your life.
Yeah, people from his life and past. I think that Finnegan can be rebooted properly in Strange New Worlds if we start getting Kirk, as is rumored later in the.
I don't want to see Kirk in Strange New Worlds, but
I know that
I'd be okay with seeing Finnegan.
You would be okay with
that new Discovery novel that has Section 31 Giorgio. What is it called? Like Die
Standing.
Die Standing.
Folks were mentioning that. Yeah.
Die Trying was a recent episode of Discovery. Now Finnegan shows up in that.
Yeah.
Did you read it? How does he show up?
Read it,
okay.
I've read it. I've not read it all.
Pretty young though. Like, well, no, he's an upperclassman, so he's older than Kirk. So he'd probably be like a little bit older than Tilly. Because like Tilly and Kirk are about the same age. I figured that out at one point. So
did you guys ever face a bully when you were in school?
I was lucky. I was not really bullied growing up, so I didn't have any Finnegans in my life. I didn't have to deal with that.
How about you, Robbie? If you don't mind getting personal about it.
Not really. No.
I did. I had a Finnegan. I had a couple of them.
You had a Shaka. You had a Shaka.
But I did have a Shaka
last night.
Which
I'm
was
sorry
really
for the boy
nice.
After dark.
I was very fortunate. I did have bullies bugging me, but admittedly, I think I might have been a bit, when I look back upon it in my older years, there's some provocation that I may have caused here and there with some choice insults.
So you started some shit and then you couldn't back it up.
Right, exactly. No, it's like I started some shit. I may have pissed people off because I was right, but I did it in a kind of cocksure manner, which was inappropriate, I think.
How did that work out for you?
Well, I've turned really nice now. I don't do those things. So like, what
did Ruth say recently? We always remember the lessons that we learned for a high price or something like that.
It's true. It's true. I didn't actually ever get beat up, thank goodness, because like I said, I did have a Shaka. So, but it was the threat of being beaten up was very real.
You said that the Finnegan stuff is a little cringy in this episode, and I love the original series. I love this episode, but that ain't the cringiest stuff. I think some of the things they did with Yeoman Barrows is way cringier in my opinion.
So are you talking about the massage in front of everyone, or are you talking about like later on with the shirt tearing and Bones like saying that it's his job to peek?
I'm talking about when she's screaming bloody murder and they run in to investigate, and her dress is ripped, her uniform is ripped. And she's like, "Oh yeah, I was just sexually assaulted." And the first words out of Captain Kirk's mouth is like, "Are you sure that happened?"
That's right. That's right.
And then like
I totally mentally blocked it out. That's right.
Immediately after that, 5 minutes after that, she, her clothes are still falling off. She's trying to like hold them up. But she's like getting flirty with Dr. McCoy.
That's right.
When Dr. McCoy is like, "Oh, you'd have like a whole army of Don Juans coming after you, and you'd have me coming after you." And she's like, "Oh, doctor, is that a promise?" And it's like, no woman who's just been like assaulted is going to turn around and be like all flirty like that.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
Then she strips down for Dr. McCoy. It's a little weird.
These are the times where I just like I'm like baffled, I think, a little, because thank goodness I was, fortunate enough to grow up in a time where like there was a lot of like highlight on that kind of portrayal and like a lot of reform of those kinds of portrayal. But like, yeah, that's definitely like a sad moment of history, and like how people chose to portray that. What do you think though? Like, do you give it like they didn't know better, or do you think were the writers trying to send a message? Like, what's going on there?
I think the writer Theodore Sturgeon, who's a very good writer, I think it was just a lack of thought. They just didn't think about stuff like that. From like a lot of this was like written by men, and they just didn't think about some of the other perspectives. I don't really blame them for that. The solution and the reason why things have gotten better is because I think we've learned to include a bigger variety of people in writer rooms and in like production staffs and stuff. And so this is where you'd get like some feedback from. I wish that like Dorothy Fontana, and maybe she wouldn't have been allowed to back in the day, but like one of the women involved on the show, there weren't many, but if someone could like step in and be like, "Oh, I don't know if this is how this character would actually react. Maybe we should rethink this a little bit." They just didn't have that though.
I admittedly don't explore too deeply into the behind the scenes as I should, because I am interested in the making of and the history of Star Trek behind the scenes. But on film, this is one of those things like, do you represent this and edit that perhaps to make it a little less cringy, or do you keep it in?
Re-editing, I don't like changing things. So I think we should just remember it and be like, these were the mistakes they made back in 1966. And
do you think it's important though? Oddly, this one was rated TV 14. I noticed on Netflix. So
for Sex and Fear.
For Sex and Fear, yeah.
It's like every episode of Star Trek on Netflix is rated 14 for Sex and Fear.
But some of my friends who have children were asking, like, what age do you introduce your children to Star Trek? And I always say, do TNG. Like, don't start, like, don't start super young kids.
Why that one?
Because that one, at least,
Data and Tasha Yar get drunk and bang in like the third episode.
It's different from this.
Sub Rosa.
Yeah, well, you gotta. It's like 7 seasons in before you get to Sub Rosa.
I think you could start I think you could start a kid on TNG at like age 10. That would be like an appropriate age.
I don't care what kids want, so I say that's like any age, just turn on Star Trek. But that's me.
I definitely think you need footnotes, and you should watch episodes with kids of Star Trek and explain some of these cringier moments to them, because you don't want your kid getting the impression that that's the actual way people react and stuff like that. So That's very cool. I'm glad we addressed that. What did you guys think of? We talked about Finnegan at length. What did you guys think of Ruth?
We don't really learn anything about her, other than she's like an old flame that I guess Kirk happened to be.
Do you think she's the first flame, though?
No.
No? Was it who was the first flame?
Old to be like the.
What are you talking about? She looks young. They look like she looks like a. He says it was like 15 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So how old is Captain Kirk at this point? Does anyone know off the top of their head? Well, regardless, it was at least 15 years ago. I imagine it was in his mid-20s or early 20s.
He was born in 33, and this episode is like in 66. So he would have been like 33 in this episode.
Finnegan calls him an old man. That's funny. So 15 years prior
he would have been like 18.
18, yeah. That's very young. Ruth did not look like an 18-year-old. I would say a 20-year-old perhaps, but not an 18-year-old. Anyways, I liked that whole scene. I loved how Captain Kirk just melted into like a buttery ball of like soft speaking. He was just like,
he almost went
he's like,
too far with that when Rodriguez calls him and is like, "Hey, there's not supposed to be any life forms, but there's birds flying around now."
He was intoxicated by her though. It was like
he seemed like he was like genuinely intoxicated. Like did Kirk get like poisoned? Is there like a love?
No, have you never been intoxicated by another human? It's really like that.
Not to the point that I would allow like the people I'm there with to possibly be in danger. I think I would snap out of it at that point.
I do think maybe the Westworld robot, the Westworld planet robot that was playing Ruth did probably emit some kind of like light, low level pheromone that maybe did intoxicate him.
I think you learn not to get involved in that way in Starfleet Academy.
Yeah, they should teach you to keep your horniness in check. It definitely would come in handy a lot. Captain. That's what some of the things you encounter in the Star Trek universe. Yeah, but like Kirk does seem like just like, I mean, all of them are just kind of like thirsty AF when they beam down. That's kind of like how the episode ends. Is they're basically like, oh, so people can just come down here and just.
Is the planet?
I'm sorry, I said a boo boo word.
I think I got
an android of whoever they want, and he's like, "Okay, everyone, just beam on down."
It's 100% Planet Westworld. Did you guys see the series Westworld, the old one,
old movie from the 70s? But I've never
movie
watched
from the
HBO show with Sir Anthony Hopkins. I've not watched that.
I've never seen it.
Well, Westworld. The idea is that you can go to this like park that's like a fantasy land, and
bang
everyone.
Androids.
Well, not just that, but everyone there's like an android, and you can relive like Western fantasies or like fantasies from like feudal Japan or whatever different worlds that they have there. And so I felt like this was Planet Westworld, because the whole planet was a factory of fantasy, right? Like,
well, it's Westworld came about later, so Westworld is actually Shore Leave Park.
Oh, interesting. Shore Leave Park. I'm changing it right now. I like that. Actually, that's a great name for a theme park, period. That's Star Trek related.
Give Star Trek the credit that it's due. Like, Star Trek did this first.
Shore Leave Park. Very true. Good point. I wonder if Westworld was inspired by this concept. That'd be interesting. Or if this is like something that was around even, a pleasure, world that could manufacture your pleasure. It's very interesting. I was really interested also in I like the characters we meet, like Rodriguez and was it Angela?
What was her last name?
I forget Angela's last name. And she's only credited, I think,
and on she IMDb. Dies. They never show her getting resurrected.
She must
like she gets shot by that Japanese airplane and just dies, and they forget about her.
That was interesting too. The World War II stock footage, and they chose to use the. What are you looking at?
Nothing.
So worry about it. Did I put something up on the screen there? No,
I have a surprise coming up.
I hope it's what I think it is.
Probably not.
Okay. Anyways, that was really cool. I like the stock footage that they used for that. It was kind of like edited. There you are. You're in the Shore Leave Park. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. By the way, even the music for Finnegan's scene is really cringy, stereotypical Irish, like a jig music. Did you freeze,
the
Father?
music was a bit off this episode.
Oh yeah, you didn't like it?
I like the lovey-dovey theme when Kirk is talking, like when he first talks to Ruth. Like it's a little bit more like sad and kind of melancholy. Not like that like part that you just hummed, but like the part like when Rodriguez calls him on the communicator.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to think of when else they use it in Star Trek.
I feel like this is the first appearance, but they'll use it again whenever there's like a nostalgic. It's the nostalgia music, I call it. Like it's just like harkening back to like a simpler time type of music. I love the soundtrack for TOS, and this is one of the episodes that they have like they have like a few tracks from it. So if you guys have access to that, you can listen to it. It's really nice. I do love the music from the period, but I do think that the music was off definitely for the Finnegan cue. I just think it's funny that again it's like this like jig basically that they're playing. Yeah, so bad. What they didn't do any like Persian / Sikh music for Khan. I think
they kind of do like some I guess the term is Orientalism type music for Sulu and the samurai that chases him.
Oh yeah,
and also the tiger and the Japanese World War II airplane. I think that might be a Japanese Zero. Is the plane. So plane. There's kind of like I don't like it, like an Asian fear type thing. A lot of these scary things on the planet are all kind of Asian and
the
origin.
samurai. That's right. The samurai warrior, the tiger. You're right. Interesting.
Why was Rodriguez so scared of that tiger? Like he had a phaser on his belt. Like if that happened to me, I would just stun. I was just like, okay, Tony the tiger, you're about to take a nap, and just stun him.
That's a really great point. Like, what the heck? Chris, hello, Chris. Welcome to the stream. Says this is a great character development episode. I wish we saw more of Sulu's interest in old guns and Star Trek after this episode. Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, this is this continues my theory of Sulu being a man of many hats. How he's we've seen him as like a botanist. You know, he's taking care of Gertrude and the other plants and Charlie X. And they even like remind us of that when he's like checking the plant's biology. And he's also a weapons expert. That's why he was running around with a sword in the Naked Time, and why he has a pistol in this episode. He's like a antique weapons expert. And he was also a physicist and Where No Man Has Gone Before, and he's also the guy who flies the damn ship. So Sulu can do it all. Damn. No wonder he becomes a captain.
Yeah, no wonder he becomes a captain. In your Gornegs for the episode Die Trying, did you make the connection that plant might have been the same plant from TOS that they're playing with in the hologram scenes of the Barzan family?
No, because I don't think it's the same.
I know,
that was a Venus flytrap because they are even like, what planet is Venus?
That was definitely not a real Venus flytrap. It was like
evolves by the future.
By the future to that thing.
Yeah, this is 1,000 years.
Just know that now I'm gonna be like throwing possible Gornegs at you because you always open it up. I like that you denied my
Venus flytrap as a kid.
Ooh, did it like catch flies and did you see it metabolize them?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Robbie, what were you going to say? I think you had a thought as well.
I was just going to say that Sulu is quite a weapons guy, as Favory said.
And they continue that in the Calvin timeline.
Yeah.
With John Cho's portrayal.
Though they also had Sulu like ready to karate fight Don Juan. When Don Juan returns, I guess to try to assault Yeoman Barrows again, he's like he has like this little karate stance that he goes into. Like he's already like judo chop Don Juan.
He is ready. It's true. I think it's the Vulcan martial arts. I think
Spock. Oh, he's doing Seuss Mana.
Seuss Mana. Yeah.
I don't think Spock knows that discipline. Spock never uses it. It's also like all Vulcans know. It's like not all humans know kung fu, just like some of them.
Michael Burnham knows it though.
Yeah, because she took that elective in high school and Spock didn't.
I love that. Would you guys like a Riverdale type style show
Riverdale.
of like do you ever watch Riverdale?
Like Archie.
I've seen it and I hate it.
Oh dang. I've seen it and I hate it. Okay. Well, I just saw the first episode and I was just thinking we could use a Riverdale style show set in Starfleet Academy of this era. And
like a Star Trek 90210 type.
No, like Riverdale with like you know, like a kind of edgy and
Riverdale is like Beverly Hills 90210, but like for Zoomers instead of Gen X or millennials or whoever Beverly Hills 90210 was for.
Chris says I like the music in the
it's kind of like a teen soap opera.
Well, yeah, I'd like a Starfleet Academy teen soap opera show for teens who want Star Trek teen soap operas. I mean, why not? We should get it.
I would be okay with an Academy show, but I don't want it to be more focused on other stuff than like who is dating who, or who's gonna ask who to the prom and all of that stuff.
But we know from Tapestry that's exactly what happens in the Academy.
Well, they need to add some other stuff, make it more interesting. Like instead of Tapestry, I would say look at The First Duty.
That's a great, nice counterpoint there, Father. Very good. I like the music in this episode for Finnegan and McCoy and Yeoman Barrows' theme when they find the dress. Remember, the phasers don't work by the time they find the tiger.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so yeah, then I'd be really scared.
Oh, they figured that out later with the knight. Okay. Because Kirk had to shoot the knight off of the horse because the Spock's phaser wouldn't work.
That's right. Oh, that was actually like a really well done scene. Like McCoy was so confident that like it was all an illusion, and he's just standing there like fully like ready for it to walk through him, and then all of a sudden, nope. And I like the way they did it with the camera, like kind of panning into McCoy as if it was the spear, and all that stuff. It was really well done.
This episode looks good. They
filmed on location too, which is really nice, and you can kind of see the higher quality, like when Kirk's jogging after Finnegan when he should be running after him in the in the first encounter. There's
really good footage of people like running around through the park in this episode
and stuff like that.
But it looks brilliant in HD. I love watching this one. And yeah, it is cool that they actually go outside, go to an actual location. They get off of the ship. We hardly ever see the Enterprise in this whole episode.
Yeah, and it's like rare that you see a real location. It's usually like that Planet Hell type of set or whatever.
The same like the stage of a planet with like the styrofoam rocks. They're out and about outside.
There were a few in there, but they blended in with the real rocks. It's true. Do you think all of that was filmed near Vasquez Rocks, or was it filmed? We should probably look
they shot all of this near like that park that Vasquez Rocks is at. They're like 5 miles from Vasquez Rocks.
We need to go.
Here's the address. It's 8237 Soledad Canyon Road. That's where they shot this.
We need to go and film a Starfleet Boy, Tex Trek, and possibly other YouTuber collaboration at Vasquez Rocks and the park there.
No, I'm sorry. That's Ralph Helfer provided the animals, the tiger.
It wasn't it wasn't Carol Baskin. Sorry. So sorry. We try to be timeless, but sorry.
Well, I'm not going to say what I was going to say about Carol Baskins because I don't want to say another boo-boo word.
I like the actor who portrays the caretaker, Oliver McGowan. His screen time is brief, but he plays a strong character presence with mystery and I'm really curious about the caretakers in general. I think they're really interesting. And this is like one of those things, like they're just so like casual about it, but think about it, like they've created a planet-wide system. They've created a whole planet that's just a factory for illusion and play and pleasure. It's an astonishing feat when you think about it, like the level of like sophistication this society has to have. And it makes me wonder, like, where are these, like like why doesn't the Federation, like, ask them for help against the Borg and things like that? One imagines like they would have like epic levels of technological prowess, not just for creating these like play illusions, but perhaps for creating defenses and things like that as well.
If you want to know more about the inner workings of this planet, like I said, watch Star Trek the Animated Series.
I will. I'm gonna watch that episode. I should have watched it.
We're gonna cover that in like 2 years when we're done with the original series.
It's true.
Right?
We'll go there.
That's the plan.
Maybe, yeah. No, it's true. We're going to the animated series. I love it. Chris also says, what are your thoughts on Ruth? I thought her character was disappointing because I never felt invested in that relationship like Carol Marcus or Mirror. I just thought of her as like intriguing, but you're right. She's not as memorable.
There's not a lot of depth there.
Yeah. What about you, Robbie?
Oh, this is someone that Kirk used to like.
I didn't like it that much. No, it was quite one-dimensional. The caretakers reminded me a bit of Atolosians.
Yeah, how they can just create any scenario for you.
Yeah.
It's also similar to what the holodeck will eventually become in Star Trek.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Super good connection there. Rock Tiger Design is here. Where are the Go-Go Girls, the Cabaret Girls at the end?
I really like the
deal. What is the deal that like relationship doesn't get fleshed out at all, right? Like between
we never see Yeoman Barrows again. Barrows or Barrows, whatever her name is. This is it for her. She's so jealous too when Dr. McCoy shows up with them. And she's just like, how do you explain them?
It's really weird. It's just so weird. Oh man, Star Trek. There actually was an Academy movie plan that was supposed to come out after Final Frontier. Oh, it's interesting.
That was going to be Harv Bennett's last movie. There was going to be younger actors playing Kirk and Spock, and it would tell the story of how they met at the Academy.
Oh, interesting. We kind of got that through Star Trek 2009.
The Kelvin movies kind of cover that, yeah. But one of the reasons why that movie didn't happen is because the other Star Trek actors found out about it, and they were like pissed off. They're like, "What? They're going to try to replace us with younger people? We're not having that." And they would like go to conventions. And they would tell the fans, they'd be like, "You need to be mad about this. If you want to see us in a movie again, you need to let Paramount know." One of the reasons why they wanted to do it was because it would be cheaper, because every one of those movies they had to pay the actors more and more money. So that was for Star Trek VI, for like the last original series crew movie, they were thinking about doing a prequel. Now, it was also something talked about as early as when season 3 of the original series was on the air. The first time anyone ever talked about a Star Trek movie, Gene Roddenberry talked about the idea of doing a Star Trek movie as a prequel to show Kirk and Spock and McCoy meeting for the first time when they were younger. Of course, that's not what ended up happening, but that idea had been around since the 1960s.
I really like that idea. Sounds better than the Final Frontier.
It would have been in replace of the Undiscovered Country.
No. I prefer Undiscovered Country. I'm glad that didn't happen. But yeah, Final Frontier for sure. I've come to love Final Frontier. over the years, but if I had to give
up
one,
I would rather watch The Final Frontier than watch Star Trek Generations or Star Trek Insurrection.
Interesting. Interesting. You're making me want to sneeze. I'll be right
back. Oh, it's nothing to sneeze at. Christopher also says, if they did a Starfleet Academy episode, they better go with an episode like Valiant in season 6 of DS9 or First Duty with Wesley Crusher in Boothby in season 5 of TNG. Christopher, I agree. Those are both very strong episodes, and I think there is potential in an Academy show. That's an idea that's also been tossed around a lot over the decades.
Was that something that's recently been talked about too, or no? I guess Prodigy is going to be kind of like fulfilling a little bit of maybe
we don't know much about Prodigy other than it's like young teenagers on a ship, but somehow like Janeway is leading them, but they're supposed to be kind of like separate from the Federation, or like I don't really know. It's kind of hard to like picture exactly what Prodigy is. I think we're going to get a lot of Prodigy information very quickly, though, in 2021. We might even get the show sometime next year.
My allergies are so terrible. Chris says this is a good episode to introduce someone to Star Trek because people don't have to get bogged down in technical terminology, and there's a lot of character development in this episode. I don't think I would use this perhaps, but I can see how it could be. I agree with what you're saying, but I wouldn't use this as an introduction.
It's a pretty good example of what the show is, though.
Yeah, I agree. That's true.
Well, we have like this crew on this Starfleet ship. They're like explorers. They're kind of military, and they're going to encounter some type of mystery on the strange new world and have to figure it out.
I think I would include some of the technical like aspects because I wouldn't want someone misled that Star Trek isn't those things. Like I do think
they have like the transporter and the phasers and the communicator.
Yeah, that's true. I guess that's true. Good point. Nice
stand
I like
for that. Spock, it was so ballsy that like he thinks that he can get like one more person beamed down. And so he's like, okay, I was gonna put my own life on the line and beam down and just hope that when I get there, I'm so smart and me and Captain Kirk work together so well that with me down there, we'll figure this out.
And he does.
Yeah. I love that, like, that type of partnership between the two of them and how well they work together and they can accomplish so much. And I think that's always good when they showcase that dynamic and put that front and center.
It is a little weird that Kirk chooses to go chase Finnegan, though. And he really doesn't find anything out from Finnegan, right? Like it was just more like a personal catharsis.
He didn't have any better leads other than that.
Yeah, I guess it's true. It's true. You had to he was hoping to subdue him so that he could get some information out of him. I love Yeoman Barrows in this episode. It's so disappointing that she never came back to Star Trek because she was so well done in the episode. I would have loved to have seen McCoy's relationship with her. Yeah, it's kind of disappointing that that they didn't do it, but I guess they didn't do that back then, period. Like it was kind of like not like set up to be a serialized type, continuing story line.
Yeah, they wanted to hit the reset button at the end of every episode.
So yeah. So is this episode is this now, will we see Rand again, or is this it for Rand? What happens now? I can't remember.
And we might be done with Rand at this point.
And then we just get like random yeomans like every now and then, right? Like we don't have a consistent like yeoman presence after that.
Yeah, there's not like recurring Romans or recurring Romans. There's not those, dude. There's also not recurring yeomans.
Oh, we get the actress who plays Pulaski.
Dinah Muldaur will be coming in soon. Yeah.
Yeah, she plays two different characters in the original series.
That's right. She's awesome. Let's see. I usually like how the yeoman female officers are portrayed in TOS. Take Who Mourns for Adonis. Lieutenant Palamas is smart and competent, but this episode, Yeoman Barrows was very much a damsel in distress. She was. We were talking about that earlier, Caleb, about how like we didn't agree with the portrayal. Yeah.
Like again, I think it just comes from Theodore Sturgeon, not like really having a good handle on how to write a woman character. But the whole thing of like the way that she's so terribly treated after she's like sexually assaulted by the Don Juan thing, and then like immediately after that she just kind of just swoons her Dr. McCoy, and then she is like, you know what women really want? They want to wear a pretty princess dress and be a damsel in distress that's fought over and protected. that's almost like verbatim to some of the dialogue in this episode.
It's true. It's true.
And then like
although
like striptease
I don't know about
for
women.
Dr. McCoy. He's like, I only peek in the line of duty. I'm a doctor.
I don't know about women, but I definitely like playing the damsel in distress. Take that as you will. No, I'm just kidding. I take that. That was totally a joke. No one come after me. No knights in shining armor. I don't need them. Thanks. Chris says it is interesting how Spock leaves the Enterprise with only Uhura in command. I love that Uhura would be in command. And don't we see it again? Like Uhura takes command again, right?
Well, we don't see her take command in this episode.
No, I know, but like in terms of like we actually see it later on. Right?
We can assume that that's probably what happens because like whenever he's contacting the ship, he's always talking to her. You know, like he's not like calling Scotty and telling Scotty what to do. We actually do see Uhura in command in the animated series in the episode The Lorelei Signal, which I really love that episode.
Oh, excellent. Oh, that's excellent.
So we'll get to that in like 2 years.
I actually remember that episode too. Now that I'm thinking about it, that's right. That's a good episode.
And to answer your question from earlier, I think we're not going to see Rand again until the motion picture.
Oh wow! Oh, so long, Grace Lee Whitney. For now, we'll see you again later. Cheers to you.
Bye.
Bye.
Even in the motion picture, we don't get that much of her.
No, I know.
She's in one scene.
She gets her swan song in Voyager, which I really appreciate. Yeah, I love that character gets like a proper story, right?
Yeah, we see a little bit of her in Star Trek 3. Yeah, briefly.
She's in all of them. She was in Star Trek 2. She's in Star Trek 3.
2. She ain't in Star Trek 2.
You're right. She's in Star Trek. She's in Star Trek 5 and 6, though, right? I gotta look it up.
She's in Star Trek 6. She's 136. Voyager.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. Yeah. She's in all the odd numbered ones.
6 ain't no odd number.
6 ain't. Stop it, Starfleet boy. All right, good job. Hey, I have allergies. Whatever. Give me a break here. But good job. You're right. That is an interesting thing that she's only in those. Okay, fine. Anyways, see you later, Yeoman Rand. We'll miss you. We miss the timeline that never was where you and Captain Kirk had a relationship.
Well, maybe she left because like she was pregnant with Captain Kirk's baby, and she's like, I know he can never choose me and my baby over his ship, so I'll just leave.
That's not
she needs a bachelor pad like book.
Yeah, it's true.
I was at a Star Trek convention one time, like 20 years ago, and they had the cosplayers come up on stage for like the costume contest. And they were all like presenting like who they were cosplaying as. And there's this one like really good-looking blonde woman. She totally like pulled off like the Yeoman Rand look. She had her hair up, like not quite as elaborate as Rand's beehive, but in a similar style. But she had her baby with her. And she was like, I'm Yeoman Rand, and this is Yeoman Rand and Captain Kirk's baby.
Shout out to that cosplay. That's really funny.
Yeah, that kid's like a grown man now. Like, I just thought of that. Like, oh, this is like 20 years ago. That kid is like an adult.
That's interesting how time... It was Robbie. Robbie was the baby she was holding.
Yeah. Robbie, ever go to a Star Trek convention in Plano, Texas?
We have Trek on the Tube coming in at the end. Hey. I don't know. He does these weird hand things that I like. Trek on the Tube. We're about to give our ratings for this episode and final thoughts. Feel free to chime in, as well as the rest of the audience who's here. We appreciate everyone who's come here. By the way, to the audience of the future, if you're watching this episode, let us know what future episode you watched that caused you to go back and watch this episode. To the audience of the past, thank you for watching and sticking with us. And to the audience of the present, we really appreciate that you've been here hanging out with us. This is very nice.
What about the audience of the undiscovered country? that means the future.
Yes, I know.
But not really. Like in the actual Shakespearean use of the term, it means like the unknown after death.
Yes.
But
yes. To sleep, perchance to dream. I know. Very nice. Good job. Wall is here. Hello, greetings from Germany in Iserlohn. Iserlohn? Did I say that right? I don't know. My German's not as great as it should be.
It's like 10 o'clock at night over there.
I know. Well, it's almost that time in Scotland. It's like 9, right?
8:51.
8:51. All right, so I'm gonna say that I really like this episode. I just watched it a couple of weeks ago and then again today, and before that I hadn't seen it probably in 30 years. So it's been like a long time since I've seen it. And while I was surprised, I was surprised how much of it I retained and remembered, which means it was probably something that entertained me greatly as a kid. And I was entertained by it again at this point. Definitely things now that I noticed that were cringy, specifically around Yeoman Barrow's character, but just like, other little things here and there. And like we said earlier, we all have our feelings about that. And overall, I do agree with Fathery that like you must retain the historical record so that things can be used as a teaching moment, which is really good to have. But anyways, as far as Star Trek episodes go and my rating 1 out of 10, I give this one a solid 7.
Cool.
Cool, bro. Who wants to go next? Should you go next, Robbie or Fathery?
I give it a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10.
7.5. Ooh, we're really close in our ratings there. I know Gary gave it a 10 out of 10, and I think that was mainly because of all the nostalgia, and I have to agree it is very nostalgic. We didn't talk enough about how cool it was that Dr. McCoy has been getting these moments. He did get a lot of moments in this episode, and I always like it when Dr. McCoy gets that moment. So
he gets a death moment and then a resurrection moment.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Would we count this as like an actual death and resurrection?
It depends how it's happening. We don't know the mechanics of it, but yeah, I guess you could. He was presumed dead, right? Like they used the tricorder or whatever, or at least they. Yeah, I would say that, and it was pretty brutal. I mean, he was stabbed in the chest through the heart by a lance.
But then he's also like resurrected in the same episode, so I don't know if we should count it as a death. But the same thing, spoilers for Star Trek Picard. The same thing happens to Picard. He dies and comes back to life in the same episode. And they make a big deal out of that one being a death.
Wrath of Khan.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but that was like a different movie when he comes back.
Yeah, when he comes back to life. So we had a whole movie in between. But yeah, you're right. Interesting. He is. Wait a second. Did they make McCoy a synthetic body?
No,
is his actual body dead? They repaired it, right? They say that. Oh, I was gonna say. Whoa, you were gonna blow my mind there for a second.
They stuck him in a golem.
They stuck him in a golem. Trek on the Tubes give it a 7 out of 10. So he's in concert with us. He hasn't done his rewatch though of this one. I'll give it a non-official based on memory. 7 out of 10.
Says
I haven't seen the episode in longer than
he's been alive.
That's weird. That's really weird to think about. Wow. Alexandra, I was multi-tabbing as usual, have in the background. Starfleet. It's nice to know that you were multi-tabbing with us, Alexandra. Thanks. You were there for us last night too, so I appreciate you. Anyways, that's good. So overall, I think it's fair to say that this episode averages at about a 7. So gentlemen, thank you very much. What's next?
I think the next one is Galileo 7.
Galileo 7. I already know what I'm rating that one.
And then after that is the Squire of Gothos. And then
Yes,
after
that's
that
right.
is Arena. I'm really looking forward to Arena.
Ooh, the next 3 weeks are going to be exciting on Starfleet Boy. So I look forward to it. I hope to see you guys all next week. Live long and prosper, and we'll see you next time.